Hey guys, my name is Ben, and together with MP and an amazing team that I'm going to be forever grateful for, we've been rebuilding this big wooden ship for the past 3 and a bit years now. We're very close to launching right now, so we are posting every single day, showing what is happening each single day, because a lot is getting done, depending on the day of course, because sometimes it's just raining and it's just nah, that's the word to describe it. As you can see over there, Nico has just put up the scaffolding so we can start working on the bowsprit. It's the only place on the boat that hasn't been painted or even primed yet, so that's going to be done now, as well as making sure all those stainless steel brackets are fastened, and we want to pull a bobstay from the tip all the way down to the waterline. Before we head into the water, I want to have a working engine and exhaust system. To have the exhaust system working, I want to have the muffler ready. We already had a muffler. We are looking at changing it for a better one, but we're just going to install it for now. But for me to install it, I'm just going to cut it open, clean the inside, because MP's already removed 2 bottles from it. I'm going to cut it open, clean the inside, and fiberglass it shut again, and hopefully put that in place soon. And then all what's missing for the exhaust is the little tip, that the flange that goes through the transom. Enough talking, thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really means a lot to us. And I hope you're enjoying these daily videos. Wow, look at them. And enjoy the video.
No, pode ficar pronto. Lá de vocês. Lá de vocês.
Ah, pode jogar. Oh. Zeca, obrigado. I needed help from the professor.
Obrigado.
Anyway, he saw me suffering there with my right hand, and I couldn't hammer well, and then he just came up and helped. He's such a nice guy. Anyway, look at that naked bowsprit. Perfect to give it a nice sand, a layer of epoxy, a layer of primer, and a layer of epoxy paint, and then that is ready for polyurethane. And then we can put the 2 stainless brackets on after a nice little polish. This is the one from the bow. This is the one slightly more halfway. And then once that's done, I think that's like another big check off the list. Let's see if we can get that done today. At least the sanding, epoxy layer, and maybe the primer, because then we have to wait a bit for the epoxy paint. But that would be really cool to just see that ready, and then we can make it all nice and shiny and new and everything. That would be so cool. This here is our old muffler, which I am now going to cut the top open, sand everything down, put another layer of fiberglass on, make it look nice, and hopefully install. So first things first, let's open it and see what's inside. From what I understood, this is a lift muffler. The exhaust, fumes and water come in here, drop into the bottom of here, and I don't know if you can see inside there, it picks up it sucks or lifts all the water that's excess up through this hole, through this tube that's in here, and out this side. I mean, I just put these arrows on for now because I think that's how it works after looking it up. But I think now comes the fun part. I'm gonna sand all of this so I can maybe put another layer on. It is super thick. What's that, 1 centimeter thick? But I just like to put another layer on anyway. Also, I need to somehow carve a little, I'm gonna call it a canyon, sand a little canyon here so I can kind of start sealing that top bit again. But this looks very cool, and I mean, I'm pretty happy with how this looks. Now comes the fun part. I'm thinking I should have done this in the rain. I could have just found a nice covered area, not been hot. Fiberglass would have just not flown away and just made you the heat. My gosh. Anyway, I'm quite happy with how that is. I've sanded it down. It's quite good because you can find any of the flaws. I don't think I even need to cover it all with fiberglass. I definitely need to mend the lid back on. The inside's quite clean. And just patch up some tiny areas, as it's so thick, those tiny patches aren't even that necessary. So the way I'm gonna fiberglass it shut, I think I'm gonna put a bevel on the top part of the actual tube and a little bevel on the lid and just fiberglass in that. It's gonna create a little crevice. I'm gonna fiberglass that crevice shut so there's more contact. And then I can just fiberglass around it completely, wrap it up, you know? I'm very happy with that, and just reinforce the in and outlet a bit. The 2 feet of that are quite sturdy, so very, very happy with it. I've had to take some clothes off to dry because that sanding in the sun was not easy, and I just need to dry all the sweat off. But Nico is up there working as hard as ever. He is absolutely amazing. I actually went next door to the bar for a little break, and I met Paolo, who gave us 6 zinc anodes for the protection around our stern tube, which is amazing. Thank you so much, Paolo. He's actually building them probably right now over there behind that wall. Big shout out to him. I don't have his contact details, but if you ever need anodes here in the region of Navegantes Itajaí, just contact Soldex and ask for Paolo's anodes. And honestly, just a little shout out to him, you know. Oh whoa, what's happening here? We've done the last little preps to get it nice and smooth. Nico's gonna go over any areas with any fairing compound, sand it down, apply epoxy resin, and then we can start, he's gonna start prepping that. But MP, we need to get something done before you can continue. Where is it? Is this it? Where? Ah, over here. We need to have the display screen somewhere visual and accessible so we can always keep track of all our Victron and Battleborn gear. So we've got this nice piece of Purple Heart, which is a nice choice by MP, and we want the little Victron display to come here. So we're going to have to just shorten it, and the goal is to make it look like this, kinda, you know. So we've got the router, we're gonna get the table saw, and before I move over to the muffler again, we're gonna make that look like this, because this one's too small. Let's go. There is going to be a slight change of plans. I am very happy that this is opened, and that already opens something on my to-do list that is kind of confirmed that I can do. However, Loic just arrived by bike. He just did a nice bike tour all morning, checked out some beaches, and we can finish the chain plates. I know it's not ideal for my hand, but if he's there, at least we've got 3 hands to work on that escariating or countersinking. So all we need to do is make the hole bigger so we can fit the nut and the washer in, just like on this one over here. And then we just need to Sikaflex it all shut and fasten it, and then that should be good. So we're gonna just leave this. Loic's leaving in a couple of days to Sao Paulo, Rio, Parachi, Salvador, and then he doesn't know what else with his cousins. So I'm gonna make the most of his help now and just work on those chain plates, which is quite a pain to do alone, especially with that long drill bit. And then he has tomorrow to maybe do whatever he wants. and then I'll start on that. So sorry to mess up your plans or your expectations of our plans, but we're going to move over those chain plates and have 4 finished already. All we have to do now is take the 2 screws out that we temporarily put in, hit down those chain plates themselves, drill, lift the chain plates up and just fix it into place. You've seen this all before, so let's time lapse this. Let's hope we don't break any more wrists or hit any more heads, and we'll be fine. What's this? Cheers.
Cheers.
What are these?
Pasoquitas.
What are they?
Brazilian bass treat made with peanut.
Made with peanut and chocolate.
Pure happiness.
Oh, Nico, pensa rápido.
Nico, what do you think? One's done.
Very nicely done.
You messed it up. I'm kidding. Nice. How does it feel to have such a good finishing? You should start building Ferraris.
I love boats.
Y mocas. Y moca.
Wooden boats.
I'm really happy we managed to do this today. So Loic ended up coming by bike, which wanted to have a little sightseeing tour, and we decided to put these chain plates in anyway, so I'm really happy they're in place. We do need the 4 plugs. We don't have a plug down here, remember, because it's just a nice little nut on the plate, but here we're going to cover them, and I don't want to do that yet because it requires a lot of sanding and a lot of cutting and creating dust, and I don't want this Sikaflex, which is still quite wet, to get all dusty. But we are going to do something very, very cool now, which requires us going to the bow. Actually, Nico is finishing up the bowsprit today. I think tomorrow we'll be able to paint it, but we're going to do something very cool, and it has something to do with what we did yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday. So let's go and have a look. If you guys want a little tip of what we're going to do now, remember that we finished installing that anchor support. Now it's time to test it out, and maybe we can even just leave the Bruce. We have one Bruce anchor, and we can already just leave it up here, and we'll see what we do with the chain. At least it'll be used. We'll have an anchor on the boat. Whatever, it's just fun, just something like rewarding until we can work on to the next job tomorrow morning. Before we lift up the anchor, hoist anchor, I'd like to just go over the 3 anchors that came with the boat. I'm not saying we're going to use them all. We're not going to use. We might even just use one of them. But firstly, I like to go over the anchors before we start spreading them out and maybe even get rid of one. First anchor that we have here is a kedge anchor. I don't see us using this very often. Apparently it's not very good at all in strong conditions or on sandy grounds. It's kedges, so I think it's good to just throw overboard and it'll stick fast. However, I don't think that's going to be the one of our choice. The second type of anchor we have here over here is called the Mexican. I know that fishermen like using it, as a fisherman rarely anchors and only uses an anchor when it's storming. With these massive spades, which we actually had welded on back over in Sao Paulo, you just chuck it overboard. We've got 200 meters of very thick rope, and this will just bury itself into the ground in a storm and hold. Of course, it's going to be a pain to get out, and it's not good to use with our windlass. So let's move over to the next one. The last anchor we have here is a Bruce, a lot more common anchor, a lot more easy to use, and also very reliable. This one here is 50 kilos. We're going to have to be playing around with weights and stuff and see what works best for us. If you have any suggestions for us, I think we might have one that will definitely be in the anchor support. I think we'll be keeping the Mexican just hanging under there against the bowsprit with a nice protective stainless plate in case of an emergency. And if anything, we can use it as a stern anchor as well. The third one, was it kedge or fisherman's anchor? I'm not so sure about. It does look very cool though. What do you guys think about these three? And do you agree with our decision of just keeping a Bruce for now and maybe upgrading something later? The anchor we're going to put up now though is the Bruce. It fits nicely in its support, and also it's probably the one we're going to use with the chain, as it relies on the chain to kind of dig in. So let's get this connected to the chain, which is over there. I think we've got 50 meters and we'll see, we'll calculate it at some point, and put it up to its support and maybe leave it there. I'm going to give it a quick clean at some point. Tell you what, we'll lift it now because we've got the support ready, and when the windlass is connected to the batteries, we will bring it down slowly and test the windlass, and then I will clean it and galvanize it. Now this is just a stainless shackle. We will change it for something galvanized, nice and strong one. This is so cool. Thanks to Loic, we managed to put this anchor support in place. I'd say this anchor support is 100% ready. All we need to do now is clean this anchor. But like I said, we lifted it now manually with the handle in the windlass. And I think when we get the batteries connected, we'll drop it electronically and get this anchor prepped to actually sit here for good. It's got lots of paint on it, it's been here for ages. Thank you a lot. Got the chain plates done today. 4 chain plates. All the chain plates on the main mast are now done and dry. We're just missing the plugs, but now we can actually get the stays on them, which is the shrouds, which means oh, that's such a big deal. And this is also such a big deal. So I think we can call this one a wrap. We're gonna go home now, prep for tomorrow. Tomorrow's got we've got this whole bowsprit which is now completely naked, which we're going to work on. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and it means a lot to us that you're here. See you tomorrow.